Good evening. How are we doing? We should be live. If you're coming in, give me a hello. Put a 1 in the comments. I'm just going to tag a few people in. So if you are coming in, let me know you are coming in. Give me a hello. Let me know your biggest take home from today. Was it resistance exercise? Did you get your resistance exercise done? Did you do what you said you would do? This is always a good time to reflect on the day. Hey Claire, give me a 1 if you can hear me okay. Just drop a 1 below. So, hey Megan, hey Ali. Any questions as well, do let me know in the comments. If you're on replay, drop a replay below as well. Let me know you are catching up. This is all about accountability. Hey Sandra, thanks for that, Claire. Perfect. So who, it is live day 3 already. Who did what they said they would do today? It's always a good question, isn't it? And it's okay if you haven't, by the way. Guess what? I haven't done everything I said I would do today. I haven't done my journaling. And I'll happily say that. So we are live now with day 3 Q&A. Ask me anything. Coming into the house, ready to rock. So let's rock and roll. So triceps home from yesterday. Nice. Yes, Sandra. Awesome work. So I'm just inviting a few people in and we are ready to rock. So it is, how is it? Day 3 already. Absolutely crazy. So let me know your biggest take home so far if you're coming in. Hey Sean, how are we doing? Good evening. So we will get started with the questions. If you do have any questions, by the way, do comment below and I'll now delve into the questions. Are great. And remember, apply with the workouts. I just want to say, so I had a few conversations with people, a few questions. It's okay if you've got a shoulder injury and you've done Monday's one back to back, absolutely fine. Just get something done. And guess what? You'll notice that every time you do it, guess what? You get a little bit better. That's the key thing. You get a little bit better. And likewise, you know what? My glutes, my lower back, can't do that. Great. Do the tricep one every day. This is the key thing. Tomorrow, tad longer. Say tad. A tad longer. With the workout, but it's knee friendly, no floor tomorrow. So a really nice one. Says me. You can trust me on that. Find out tomorrow. Anyway, biggest take home so far, the importance of looking after my bones, yeah? Yeah, no bones about it. So, right, let's delve into the questions now before I start talking about tomorrow's task, before we've even talked about today's task. So, let's rock and roll. So, question number 1. So on that note, just about the workouts, yeah. So it doesn't just get one done. That's the key thing, and it's all about. So we talk about for Fit all the time in our 28-day kickstart. Which, if you want more information about, a few of you have asked, just send me a message with kickstart, and I can send you some details on that. But we always say this, like it's all about adapting to you. Like I shared Joss's results. If you go on my Facebook page right now and click on it, you'll see a picture of Joss before or after. She had a knee operation in the middle of that, and there's a lot you can't do, lots you can do, lots of physio, lots of prehab that we went through. And it was like, let's maintain as much strength as possible. And my point here is, guess what? You can't do everything, but that doesn't mean, just because you can't do everything, it doesn't mean you can't do something. And when you have that mindset, you know, from doing this since 2008 now, which sounds quite crazy, even for me when I say that, like, I even tell people sometimes, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing it about 6 years, started in 2008. People go, it's not 6 years ago. I was like, oh yeah, it's more than 16 years ago. I always get confused with 2018, 2008, but yeah. So, and from working with people since 2008, it's like, I see it time and time again, that the people who get best results, they get the fastest results from being more patient. And they've also failed the most times. Hey Katrina, hey Jackie, they failed the most times, but kept going. And they're willing to do things that are seemingly boring. Like I talked about yesterday, with Nikki's question, tracking, writing everything down for 2 weeks, getting data, because you can't fail if you have data. And yes, I'm going to throw it out there, it's easier to do that if you have a coach. It's easier to do that if you have a check-in. You can go, yes, I need some help right now. Great, let's sit down and just chat about it. Done. So, hey Vicky, awesome work. So, Megan, with my family history of osteoporosis, grandmother had it, mother has it, and is on meds to treat it, what can I do to help with this? So, key things, like today's task, would be number one, resistance exercise. Get as much as you can, like you are, Megan, which is awesome, by the way. Number two, get some calcium in your diet, whether that's dairy calcium seems to be slightly superior, but if you're supplementing, all good as well. Get some enough vitamin D, whether I would personally recommend supplementing. You can take up to 4,000 IU per day before having to check with your GP from having too much. So that would be one. And then, given the research in vitamin K2 in postmenopausal women, and given your family history, might be worth taking vitamin K2 as well. But also just in general, making sure you're getting a lot of vegetables in, you're getting a lot of protein in. Like, this is going to help with all of this. So, hey Rebecca, hey Melissa. So that would be my go-to on that. Sandra, I'm aware my muscles are weaker than they should be. However, my creatinine levels are at the high end of the marker, which affects the kidney function. I'm guessing that taking creatine supplement is probably not the best. So this is a weird one in that creatine might raise it, but it's not really like a direct thing. I would always kind of check with your GP on that. But like, although creatinine, not creatine, is used to measure potentially, conditions, creatine may cause a short-term rising it, but it's temporary. That's the key thing. So it's not the same as having chronic. And this is one of the things to always consider. I'm not saying that means you should take it, but like a lot of, like with exercise as well, right? Exercise short term, the acute effect is quite unhealthy for potentially blood sugar levels, your stress, your hormones. Like, if you look at acutely, you could argue, I could write something about exercise acutely and you would go, oh, I'm not doing that. That looks horrendous. Your blood pressure's higher, your stress levels are higher, your blood sugar levels are higher. Then I say, oh, it's just exercise. It doesn't last too long. And you're like, okay. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, okay, when you put things into perspective a bit. So, but, I don't know your individual situation with that. So, I wouldn't feel confident to say, yes, just go and take it, or no, don't take it. It would be one to discuss with your GP and healthcare practitioner, because everyone is so different with that. So, there might be other things that you're taking or having. Rest up, Liz. So, Julie, I neglected my physical health in my late 30s, 40s. Is it possible to repair the damage I've done to my muscles and joints? 100% yes. And how do we know? Well, essentially, Julie, when you consider that they're doing studies right now in 90-year-old plus people, if they can feed them enough protein and they do resistance exercise, they normally use a leg extension, just for the reason that, one, it's very friendly in terms of mobility. You're sat down doing it. Two, they can isolate a muscle. So they can look at they take a bit of muscle, do a muscle biopsy, have a look at the muscle, the size of it, etc. They then do some resistance exercise, infuse with protein or infuse without protein, then they look at what happens. And either way, whether the supplement or the protein powder they're looking at works, the cool thing to remember is that if there's a stimulus there, aka resistance exercise, even people in their 90s are putting on muscle in these studies. So that's a cool thing to consider. So 100% you can repair any damage that you think you've done to your muscles. And then by building muscle, this is going to protect your joints. This is going to help build your bone health so that it could prevent falls, and it could also, but it could also, more importantly, if you do fall, prevent a break. That will prevent bed rest. And that has that nice knock-on effect. Cool. I hope that helps with that one. Next question. So, I eat healthy, but I'm not losing weight. It's a really good question. And what I want to touch on here is the difference. And I think there is kind of it's not concrete, this, okay? Eating healthy and eating to lose weight are slightly different things. They cross over though. I'll describe it like, two circles and they overlap. If you eat healthy, you're more likely to lose weight because you're probably more likely to eat more nutrient-dense foods. What you mean by that is whole foods, filling foods, fruit, vegetables, lots of protein. However, you can still overeat that stuff, right? You can still overeat that stuff. So by going on a weight loss diet, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So, you look at some, less calories is great for weight loss, but in long term, if you're not getting the nutrition, and you could be, at risk of deficiency. For example, if I had 2 donuts for my dinner, that might be 500 calories, which is less than, say, some scrambled egg, buttered mushrooms, half an avocado, some bacon, some baked beans, like wholesome foods in there, some tomatoes, whatever. I could choose any example, a big Caesar salad or whatever. There's more nutrition in the Caesar salad, but I might have just overeaten my calories. However, I might lose weight in the donuts, but I might not get the nutrition. Now, that's an extreme example. And in reality, you want to be in the middle. Because the lower your calories, the more at risk you are of deficiency. So you want to make sure your choices are great. Not just for your health, but to keep you fuller for longer. Let's face it, if I have 2 donuts and I'm on 1,000 calories a day, I'm going to be starving by the end of the day. If I'm on 1,000 calories a day, yet I'm eating a big stir fry for dinner with a load of chicken in there, I'm having 0% Greek yogurt with some frozen blueberries thrown in, I'm going to be quite full on like that meal alone, which might be like 600 calories for the whole pot of yogurt, a big chicken stir fry with some soy sauce. I'm like, I've had 600 calories, I'm stuffed. So there's a big difference. And the key thing to remember though is you're eating healthy and not losing weight. It just means you're not in a calorie deficit and you're overeating somewhere. So then I'd say, okay, where's my healthy eating at? So I looked at one of their meals today, and they had scrambled egg, avocado, mushrooms, buttered mushrooms, that was. And it's a good meal, great meal. But then they were like, I was pretty stuffed after that, pretty full up. I'm like, if you look at the different amounts of fats you've got in there, you've got the avocado, you've got good fats from the eggs as well. You've also got the buttered mushrooms. Are there any changes you can do there? That even small changes in there? And it was like, but actually, then we looked at their overall diet, and it was like, I still eat fruit and yogurt in the morning for breakfast or as a pudding, and I don't even need it. I just do it out of habit. So then we were like, you know what? Actually, let's just start there. Just keep your buttered mushrooms in, keep that in, then don't have your fruit and yogurt. So we're getting that balance right between going, that meal keeps them full up. It's also quite nutritious. They keep their avocado in, that healthy fat, it keeps them full. And then what they can do is play around with their evening meal. So because their next question was, if I don't have the fruit, am I going to be deficient in something? And the answer is no, you can get everything you need from vegetables. However, then they can play around with their carb portion. So it might be like, you know what, at lunchtime today, instead of having, a chicken sandwich, I'm going to have a chicken salad. I'm going to have some fruit for pudding. So my carbohydrates are still in there. Instead of having bread, I'm going to have fruit as my carbohydrate. That's just an example of how you can get that balance right between eating for health and eating for weight loss. So I hope that helps in that. And yeah, just know that they are separate projects, weight loss and health, which overlap. Yeah, weight loss is a numbers game. Food quality and eating healthy, we need to make sure that we're getting quality foods in. Now, I would always chase health eating first, then you can always make adaptations. So like today, they're choosing healthy eating, but it's like, I'm not losing weight. Well, your portion sizes are quite big. You're choosing quite a lot of fat sources. Fats have 9 calories per gram, so very easy to get a lot of calories without visually seeing a lot of food. You compare that to more vegetable and protein based, and you can have a mountain of food on. So, yeah. So Melissa asked, why are fruits classed as carbohydrates? Because they are carbohydrates. Just like a carbohydrate is glucose. So glucose can come from fruit, glucose or fructose, sorry. So carbohydrates can come from glucose and fructose. These are like the disaccharides, if you like. So sugars joined together. Above that, you've got starches, like potatoes, pasta, which are broken down to glucose. And then fruit is a mixture of glucose and fructose. So it just chemically is a carbohydrate. It's often not put in the same bracket just simply because fruit is just seen as a plant, nutritious food. Some of the labeling by our, I guess, beliefs have maybe skewed what we, if you look at a potato, it's still a plant, but people see, jacket potatoes as fattening. And it's all down to portion size, really. Like this evening, we actually had jacket potato for dinner, and it was like, you could have had, that was the carbohydrate in the meal. Whether I had a couple of apples or that jacket potato, it wouldn't make much difference. I'm not saying you have to have one or the other, but it's a way to manage your portion, right? Quite often our carbohydrates are up there and our protein are there, but remember what we said on day one, when we talked about those protein studies which showed the difference between someone having 30% protein intake within menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, premenopause, the impact on their hunger levels, the impact on their weight loss, the impact on their waist circumference when they increased their protein intake to 30 from 18%, had a very good impact on sustainability in terms of dropout. So it was 39% versus 61% dropout. So the people who had higher protein, they could stick to it. And also they lost more weight. So by increasing your protein, you're probably going to need less of something else. So essentially, it's classed as a carbohydrate because it just chemically is. Yeah, I hope that helps. Which is better, fish or fowl? Fish or fowl? Probably, if I have to choose, I'd probably go fish, but just because of the omega-3. And yeah, any fat that you get from fish is going to be oily, great fat. So, and all the other fish is just ultra lean. But normally a blend is probably good. More for the omega-3, which we talked about, hot flushes, joints, heart health, really key. How much resistance training is recommended? Hey Penny, how much resistance training is recommended? What should we aim for? So the government recommends at least 2 times a week, at least. I would say, looking at research, given that premenopause, perimenopause, menopause, like I always say, is like a soup for muscle loss, I would say, if you can get that up to 4 times a week, even better. More than that, no, you don't need to any. I'd say it's diminishing returns above 6, but like the more the better. And the great thing about resistance exercises is you can play around with the intensity quite nicely. You know, if you were quite tired one day, do the arms workout, do the laying down glute workout. You don't have to be jumping around. Like, it can be low impact and good intensity, and it doesn't whack your central nervous system. Like HIIT training, you're like jumping around, impact on the joints, which is great for a time and a place. But if you do it all the time, you could be wiped out all the time. And the good thing about resistance exercise is you're able to focus on that muscle-mind connection. Sandra, how long per session if you were to aim for 4 times a week? So it's not necessarily about time. I'd say progression is the key thing. How much are you lifting? How many sets are you doing? So we do a lot of kettlebell sessions at Fruity Fit as well in the morning. Weight session, you can use a dumbbell, bag of books, whatever. And you can start to increase that. It might be that you increase the amount of reps you do. It might be that you increase the weight that you're lifting. If you're getting stronger over time, that's the key thing. That's what I would say would be my go-to on there. Yeah. Hope that helps. Let's get the other questions up. Maxine asks, I'm post-menopause. I've not had milk since I was about 10. Drink black tea and coffee. Nice. Until joining Fruity Fit, I didn't eat yogurt very often either. I don't take supplements. Is there anything I can do to help my calcium, or is it too late now? Well, you're eating yogurt now, right? So Greek yogurt is great. You could supplement if you want to, but by doing Fruity Fit, you're obviously doing resistance exercise already now, which is great. So you're sending that stimulus in, and that's the main thing. So you're doing the right things there. I would say now you just need to trust the process and be consistent, is what I'd say. Sarah, I normally do resistance training, but only a bit of cardio. Does cardio make any difference during perimenopause? And what are your thoughts? As I have heard that too much cardio can make you lose muscle mass. Cardio is great. Cardio just comes under so many forms though, right? Because how do you define cardio? Is it steps, or is that more physical activity? Is cardio really getting your heart rate? Is cardio interval training? Is cardio kind of endurance resistance exercise, like doing higher rep work? Because that does get your heart going as well. So it depends what you define it. If you're doing I'd say you need to be getting your steps in. That's a given. Get your steps in 100%. Like, there's no downside of that. You won't lose muscle. Get good steps in. If you can get 10,000, great. But don't worry about numbers really. Just aim to do a little bit more. Obviously diminishing returns. But if you're at below 5,000, really try and get that up. We know from mental health point of view, the risk of cardiovascular disease, etc. If you can get that up, research is very strong that that's going to have a massively beneficial effect. And given what I said about one of the main differences between perimenopause, premenopause and postmenopause was people's calorie expenditure from physical activity. Essentially, people were doing less exercise. So keeping those steps up is going to be a good thing, Sarah. In terms of cardio, it's good for your heart, right? Your heart's a muscle, so you're still working it. But yeah, like you said about muscle loss, I wouldn't worry too much unless, if you're doing cardio and you want to keep your cardiovascular health up as well, I mean, try and do it at the end of a weight session or resistance exercise session, so you're not impacting the performance of the lifts too much. So if you did it, at least if you did it at the end or a separate time, it's a different time of the day, so you're not kind of running or jogging or whatever, cross-train a bike, and then you're kind of tired for your resistance exercise. If you're worried about muscle loss, put your muscle training first and prioritize that. So there are lots of benefits, cardiovascular health being the main one, as well as insulin resistance, which we've talked about already as well, which is important. So Melissa, there's a history of high cholesterol in my family. Despite having a balanced diet, mine is stable but higher than it should be. GP happy to leave it at the moment because of my age, but said I'll probably need statins when I'm older. I'm 43. What would you recommend to lower my cholesterol? I don't eat, drink things that cause high cholesterol, only very occasionally, so I'm not sure what else I could do. Thanks. I'm really enjoying hearing your advice this week. Great. So what I'll do, I'll put the cholesterol lowering meal plan. So I'm going to put a cholesterol lowering meal plan in the comments for you. It's quite good, isn't it? Hang on. So cholesterol lowering meal plan, and then also a cholesterol lowering guide for you, which might help. And this is based on research in terms of what lowers your cholesterol. If you're not eating anything that you think would raise it, there might be a few things that could help, or at least bring your attention to it. So I'll talk you through a few things now. I'm just putting this in the comments for you, and I'll put this in the comments of this post as well. So if you're live right now, it should also be in the comments for you as well. So look. Let me just put that in the comments. Yeah. So you should have that in there now. So in terms of what's in the guide, so things like oats they contain a fiber called beta-glucan, which essentially binds to cholesterol. 3 grams a day has been shown to reduce that. So looking at that might be a good thing. Swapping saturated fat for more polyunsaturated, so you think, and mono, so like your olive oils, your olives, oily fish. Getting the majority of your fats from that are probably going to be a good thing. You could look at plant cereals, stanols, found in kind of vegetables, nuts as well, but also you can get like those yogurts as well. So fiber, soluble fiber especially, found in fruit, veggies. But then also something that's not talked about a lot and is interesting. So weight loss through diet and exercise is associated with a decrease in cholesterol. So every kilogram of weight loss is associated with 1.93 milligrams per deciliter in total cholesterol and 0.77 milligrams per deciliter in bad cholesterol. That might not mean anything, but that's essentially that every kilo of weight loss is helping to reduce cholesterol in there. And there's a little graph in the guide as well. Hey Gemma, if you want to have a look at, so it talks about how to reduce your cholesterol by 33%. So you've got beta-glucan, soya protein, nuts, but it doesn't mean you have to eat nuts. It's like a portion of nuts for the polyunsaturated fat. That could be like a piece of salmon, like you're getting polyunsaturated. It's just an example. Plant sterols, so like that little yogurt, reducing your saturated fat by 5%. And then that shows the cholesterol reduction. So yeah, there's a few options there. There's some recipes in there as well that might just give you some ideas, fish recipes, nothing crazy. You can adapt them how you want, but hopefully that helps on there. Cool. Lasita, do you recommend turmeric or collagen supplements? There's so many people talk about liquid over tablets. It all adds up. So, great, Melissa. Have a look at them. So, turmeric, there is nothing to lose from taking it. At the very least, you've got some anti-inflammatory properties. Pretty good. So, for me, gets the thumbs up. If you're willing to, either use it on your food or take it as a supplement, fine. Collagen is a bit more of an interesting area. It does have some positive research on. So skin, hair, nails, basically it doesn't really matter what type of collagen. you're going to get some benefit. So you could get the cheapest collagen out there. You could eat gelatin. You could have jelly. It's probably going to have a good effect. In terms of joints, then it gets a bit more particular. Gelatin is good because that's bovine, and gelatin is essentially hydrolyzed collagen. So gelatin is good. Bovine collagen is also good for joints. Whether you need to take collagen, I mean, we do like stop making it at the amounts we make it when we're younger. I would always ask the question though, like, what makes you want to take collagen? Are you some of the main benefits are more so recovering from injuries, like people recover quicker, potentially. But my only issue with this is sometimes some of the studies are actually in athletes where they're like, if they can knock a week off their recovery, it's like, or like even a day, it's like significant, right? So my joints ache. So I would go turmeric, omega-3. They would be ahead of collagen for me. I would look at low impact resistance exercise, and then I would consider taking a collagen if you see no benefit after that. Do it in stages. Like, for me, there's other benefits of turmeric and omega-3 anyway. But if you are like, feel free to try a collagen at the same. I just probably wouldn't try them all at the same time, unless you're happy to. Like, it is a bit of a cost benefit analysis as well, right? And collagen just seems to be so expensive at the moment. But omega-3 and turmeric, the thing is, the benefits above and beyond joints are worth doing it anyway, right? Like turmeric, anti-inflammatory, gut health. Then you've got omega-3, heart health. We know 3 grams a day is associated with low risk of heart disease. Joints, cognitive benefits, skin, mood, like, worth it anyway. If it helps your joints, great. Same with collagen to an extent. Like, at the very least of collagen, you might notice you'll increase your protein intake, because collagen is a protein. So it's a low quality protein source for muscle building because it doesn't contain the amino acids, but it is a source of protein. But at the very least, the result of that is your nails might grow a bit quicker, your hair might grow a bit quicker, your skin might feel a bit better. But again, it's getting that balance right between what you're kind of willing to invest in, is what I would say. So start with the omega-3 and the turmeric. Have to go, thanks to totally dig turmeric. Perfect, Vicky. Great stuff. So that's all the questions that I've had. Any other questions on there? Any other questions? Any other questions? Great, Maxine. Let me know how you get with that. I have done a Q&A on collagen, a seminar on collagen, which is about an hour and a half, I think. So if you are really bothered about, like, you really want to know, I've kind of summed it up there, but if you want to know everything about collagen, comment below of collagen, and I can put that in there for you. But don't stay up late. Don't lose sleep watching that, because I think that will have a worse effect on your joints and your health. Cool. If you're interested, I'll put it in the comments for you now. All about collagen. Enjoy. Let me just share that now. Okay. Jogged on the spot during Q&A. Love it, Claire. Good work. I would have joined you, but I'm good with my... There's always a positive. So my car's in the garage at the moment, needs to be fixed, which means I do loads of steps, which is really nice. And I must admit, I was never a step person. Now I am. I used to be, I do resistance exercise. But I do feel good. I do always feel good. I've just tagged you in it below. I'll put the cholesterol in there. So, cholesterol, collagen, all in there. So, that is it for tonight. If you're on replay, let me know. Have an awesome evening. Stay safe, drink your water, take your turmeric, take your omega-3, do your resistance exercise, get walking. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Enjoy your cocoa, which is all gone. Enjoy your alcohol-free beer, which I've got in the fridge. And yeah, I will see you later. Keep showing up. That's a key thing. Remember, if you want more information about our next Kickstart program, 40s, women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, want to get in shape, get fit, have fun doing so. Some of you have asked already what happens after this. There is an opportunity to join us if you want to. If you want more information on that, comment below for Kickstart. But for now, tomorrow we go on again. Tomorrow is probably my favourite day. We talk about self-sabotage. You know that? Of course you do. And sleep. Everyone's self-sabotaged, including me. But is it even real? That's your teaser for tomorrow. Is it even real? Anyway, this is where we need the extenders. Boom, 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 boom. This is where Phil Mitchell comes in. Phil, is it real? Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, I'll stop there. Have an awesome evening. Any questions, let me know. And I will see you soon.